Thank you, everyone, for coming. Um, I guess I'll introduce myself. I'm Agustina. This is my journey studying arts at Penn. So, a little bit about me. I'm from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Um, this talk is very important to me because if you know a little bit about the current government in Argentina, then you may know that there's been a defunding of the arts for the past year or so. So this talk is not only like just me completing my requirement for Penn World Scholar graduation, but also political talk in some way, because the fact that I'm an Argentine artist or aspiring artist able to give a talk here while the arts and culture being defunded in my country is, I don't know, something that I think I should mention. Apart from that, I'm obviously a senior. I'm studying fine arts and visual studies, and I have minors in history of art on the side. I'm working on 2 theses this semester, so I've been very busy. I'm showcasing one of them next Thursday. So if you want to come, it'll be the fine arts thesis. Very, very excited about that. On campus, some of the things I'm involved in is the Osiris Senior Society for the Performing Arts, the St. Elmo Club of Philadelphia, the Arthur Rose Gallery Student Advisory Board. We just had like a very cool event last week. So if you're interested, check it out. And like I said before, I'm an aspiring artist and designer. I added some of my work there. I mostly do animation and interactive pieces. Um, so yeah. So like I said, I study visual studies, and it's a very, very small major to the point that I'm the only graduating senior. So yeah, I'm both the highest GPA and lowest GPA of the major at the same time. But apart from that, like I said, it's a very interesting major. I did not know what it was when I came to Penn. I came to Penn as a history major. Took a couple of classes freshman year, and I hated it. So I started looking around the catalog, being like, okay, what else am I interested in? I was at that time taking 2 animation classes. I realized I really like fine arts. I really like design. Okay, but what else can I do with it? Is there like other way of studying all of this, like combining all my interests? And that's visual studies. So according to the visual studies at Penn website, it is a major or a field that incorporates philosophy, psychology, history of art, fine arts, and architecture. On like a bigger perspective, it can also include cinema and media studies as well as women and gender studies. It has 3 concentrations because it's a very interdisciplinary field. So depending on what you're interested in studying, you have, for example, the one of the sectors is culture and history of art, where, as you would expect, you focus mostly on the philosophy and history aspect of art and visual media. You have the art practice and technology, which is the one that I'm in, that is made for people that are interested in making art and are interested in understanding the way artists think and the way people interact with art and so on. It's like it's a very interesting major. Apart from that, well, fine arts, that is my other major. That is pretty easy to understand what it is. We don't have sectors or anything, but yeah, I'm very happy with what I chose. And if I were to apply to Penn again, I would definitely choose it. Once again, um, it is a major that has very awesome professors that are very interested in what they do, and is so interdisciplinary that, at least for a person like me that is always changing like her mind about what to study, what to focus on, stuff like that, visual studies allows me to study different things at once. So I think that's very cool. Oh, what if I can? Oh, yeah. So, like I said, I'm an aspiring artist. So, what does this mean? So, usually when people think of fine arts, especially at Penn, they think sculpture, they think painting, which is super cool. Personally, I can paint, I can draw, and I can do anything with clay. So, what I decided to focus on is digital art and animation. So I mostly work with virtual reality, animation, um, visual effects, and of course some coding. So it's definitely it is very silly. Oh, I don't know what happened. Sorry. It is very silly, but believe it or not, it's what made me want to study animation on the side. So yeah, this is what I decided to focus on. I spent most of my days at the Charles Adams Hall. When I was in sophomore year, I spent even nights nonstop at it there. So it's a major and a career that requires a lot of dedication, and you have to be extremely constant with it. Because if you're working with animation and you decide to stop for like or take a break for like 3 days, when you go back, you have no idea what were you thinking at that moment, and it looks weird at the end. So yeah, it requires a lot of dedication, a lot of mental strength too, because critiques aren't easy. I had my first ever critique freshman spring, and I almost cried. And I still cry sometimes at some critiques, especially for my thesis, because, like I said, they aren't hard. They aren't easy. Sorry, they're very hard. Professors try their best to like keep you motivated, but sometimes it's it's very hard to have people judging your work all the time, because that's basically what you're doing. You're always showcasing your work. So you obviously want people to enjoy what they're seeing, but at the same time, you want your artistic thought to like prevail in the art. So how do you do that? It's definitely hard. Okay, there we go. So what about research in the arts and research in visual studies? So last semester I worked on the analysis of the thesis mosaic of Anna Sophia. Basically, this was for a class that combined history of art with technology. I would use it to analyze different paintings, analyze different styles of art. So in my case, I decided to focus on the idea of Byzantine perspective. That for those of you that don't know what Byzantine perspective is, you may know what vanishing point perspective is. I'm sure you know the fact that if you draw something with a vanishing point, you do like this, you're creating perspective. Um, I think everyone knows about it if they're taking drawing one at then. It's a really interesting concept, but Byzantine perspective does it in the inverse way. So for a lot of time, art historians thought that it was just like very primitive, and they didn't take it seriously. So my research was to understand how this kind of perspective works, what kind of tells us about the artists of that time. And also there's obviously a lot of Eurocentrism in art history. So this also helps us to part ways from the Renaissance, that from the perspective that was born in during the Renaissance, and is the one that you've most likely seen in paintings. So it was a very interesting project. Like I said, I had to combine coding, I had to combine virtual reality, some AI coding. It was really fun. And what we ended up discovering is that this kind of perspective is very similar to the one we have nowadays in VR. So it was mind blowing to learn that artists that were doing this like many years ago had such a modern vision on perspective that most of it that until now was treated as primitive. So this is an example of like a more technological approach to research in the arts, but there's still traditional research in the arts. So right now I'm taking a class at the PMA with some PMA curators where I'm learning to analyze paper and works of art on paper. So this was me last week using a microscope to get the materiality of the paper, of the ink used in the specific piece of work by Luis Felipe Noé, which is an Argentine artist. This is an example of a very traditional research in the art history field. You can't use even pens when you are at the curation lab, so everything's done by pencil. There are barely any computers at all, so it's very refreshing because, like I said, since like my concentration is in technology, I'm always surrounded by screens and by these very modern tools. So going there and just be like, okay, you have to slow look at this painting for like 20 minutes to see even the smallest details. Um, it's very interesting. It's something that I really enjoy. And I thought there would be any freshmen here, but there aren't. If you still have time to take a class at Penn, I would recommend it. I don't think anyone still has. I mean, yeah. But yeah, but yeah, so these are just examples of different kinds of research in the arts. So what does the art community at Penn look like? It's very interesting. I don't want to say that the art community is hidden. It's definitely very out there, but sometimes it is grouped in the same community as performing arts, which even though I love performing arts, some of my closest friends are performing arts. I'm in a performing arts senior society. It's still very different to what we could say like quote unquote traditional analog art. So there are definitely a lot of like very interesting communities to explore at Penn. We had, like I said before, the Arthur Rose Gallery Student Advisory Board, where we help the curator at the Arthur Rose Gallery. We create events for all over the Penn community to get the people involved in the arts, to get people involved with the gallery. There's also the Fine Arts and Design Board that they're constantly creating exhibition across campus. There's one coming up, I think tomorrow, and there was one last week at the Philo Gallery. That was really amazing. They also collaborate with other student groups on campus, for example, with Penn Leads the Vote, where they created these screen printed tote bags to help people understand the responsibility of voting, which is really cool. What else? Yeah, and you don't have to be majoring in arts or to thinking of going in a career in the arts to just be involved in this. It's a very nice group. There's people from all areas. You just have to have some minor interest in the art, which is it is a very welcoming community. I felt very happy every time I have to come to one of the events. Chances are that if you go to one of the FAT board events or one of the Arthur Rose Gallery events, I'll be there. So please say hi. And yeah, what about Philly? Well, Philly is in fact a city of artists, fun fact, while I was making this slideshow, I realized I have a lot of pictures of the PMA. I love the PMA so much. Apart from that, there is, of course, the Barnes Foundation. If you haven't been there, I would really recommend that. I hadn't been there in the last semester, and I regretted not coming there earlier. There's also the Fjord Gallery at Old Kensington. So that is also very cool. There's a lot of like small galleries in South Street that I recommend going there. Specific artist bookstores where a lot of artists publish their own books showcasing their work, and it's mostly done in a very independent way. So chances are that if you buy a book there, it may be the only one of its kind. So that is very cool too. Even at Penn, like I said, the Arthur Ross Gallery, we have the ICA. The Common Press too is like a very interesting resource to like learn more about art. There's a conservation lab at the Van Pelt, 5th floor. So yeah, see, Philadelphia definitely is a city for artists. It breaks my heart that sometimes is eclipsed by New York. I mean, because of its proximity and because of like when we think about museums, we may be thinking about the MoMA or the Met, and not necessarily be thinking about the Fjord Gallery. But I would really recommend people to explore Philly more, go beyond campus. Like I said, Old Kensington has very interesting galleries to visit, and just the local art community in Philly is great. It's amazing, and Fishtown too. Fishtown, awesome place to go if you're interested in the arts. So yeah, just go check it out. Talk to local artists in the community. Go to exhibition at Fox Gallery. That's another one. There's so many things to do here in Philly if you're interested in the arts. I personally would love to stay here and keep pursuing the arts after graduation. So yeah, this is mostly a love letter to a community that has been very welcoming to me since my freshman year, and I hope that I can take part of more actively after graduation. That's pretty much it. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know if anyone has any questions.
It was great to hear from you and to learn about that you combined fine arts with like visual culture kind of studies as well. Are students who do the fine arts major, are they encouraged to also do sort of the research end as well? And was that a part of your thesis to do the research, or is that something that you pursued out of your own interest?
It's something that I pursued for a class, but mostly out of my own interest. So like for fine arts, the thesis is pretty much making an exhibition. You don't really have time for research when you're working 10 hours on your project. There are, however, research opportunities for fine art students. The Voigtsman School has this lab in the Netherlands where you make animations that have environmental messages. So you work with scientists in Netherlands that are interested in climate change, and your role is to make these very cute and educational animations to talk about climate change and environmental issues. That is also really nice, and it's of course paid. But yeah, those are some examples of the research specifically within fine arts. If a student is interested in going beyond that, they most likely have to take specific classes in the design area or visual studies area.
When you came to Penn, did you know that you wanted to be an art major?
No, like I came as a history major.
Ah.
I took a couple of classes my freshman year, and I did not like it as I thought I would. Um, I did like art beforehand, of course, so I there was already a strong interest in it before coming to Penn, so I started exploring it more. But yeah, no, it's definitely something that I wasn't expecting, and I think there's this certain pressure at Penn to stick to more quote unquote traditional majors, like the majors that are like way bigger, like PPE, econ. So when you think about studying fine arts, is a little taboo in some ways. There's a reason why the fine arts graduating class is only 7 of us. So yeah, I really hope that changes. Doesn't seem like it, especially because of like the defund of like the arts across the country and in other countries too. But I hope that the community keeps growing and people actually start thinking of fine arts as like a very valuable career.
So speaking of career, what do you see yourself doing after graduation? Do you have a job already? Or
I'm still applying, still applying. Well, since like, I did like a very interdisciplinary major, and my research is, I don't want to say all over the place, but it's pretty much that's it. It's a little bit of art history, it's a little bit of technology, a little bit of design. Applying to a wide range of jobs. I applied to design jobs. I applied to curation. I even applied to grad school. So yeah, I would like to, like I said, stay in Philly as working in a gallery or in a museum. Um, Hopefully in either the design of the technology department, even the marketing department, uh, fine with that. But I definitely want to stay within the range of galleries, museum, artists, publication. I don't want the artistic part of me to get lost when looking for a job or like doing a career. So yeah, that's
I admire you because you ventured into a field that you're right. It's like a taboo in your definition because here at Penn, they're very big on paraprofessional, engineering, Wharton, even nursing, and so that's a very big, you did not allow pressure to put on yourself. You want to do something that makes you happy. Who's your favorite artist?
oh well. I don't know if I have like a favorite one. I do have two
Okay.
that I've been studying the most, and I'm still very in awe of their art. One is Barbara Kruger.
Who?
Barbara Kruger. She does a lot of graphic art design. She was very popular in the 90s, and she works a lot with typography, which is definitely not something that you think when you think of art, because that's another thing. My focus is on contemporary art. So despite the very beautiful pictures that I added here, I don't study any of them, but I realize they might be the most recognizable.
Van Gogh.
Yeah, I personally like contemporary art. So, like I said, Barbara Kruger is one. I also really like Luis Felipe Noe.
From Argentina?
Yes, it is one, if not the most important contemporary artist of Latin America. I love his work. I'm, like I said, studying one of his pieces this semester. So it makes me insanely happy to be able to learn more about about other artists from my same culture, from Latin America, from Argentina. I think that's also very, very important.
I was in a museum in Buenos Aires. What's the name of that museum? Very famous. I only saw one picture of Frida. But what is the name of Museum of
The Malva.
Malva?
Malva. Yes, very beautiful institution. I would like to eventually go back at one point and maybe live there for a little bit and work there for a little bit. It is a wish of mine, but maybe it'll happen in the future. But yes.
How about your colleague, your peers? Maybe they have questions.
I've known you since early freshman year. I do remember like you were looking around for deciding what to study and whatnot, and you had some challenges over there. I really admire how you have prospered in this field. It's a very cute presentation with a lot of great examples. It's a very charming presentation to know where you've come. But it's been a nice journey, I must add. Um, yeah, I had a question. I forgot. I can probably remember, but I did really want to emphasize the journey that you've taken and that it's an inspiration. I sometimes do actually think how you've like come all the way into the arts in the beginning, although you knew that you might still face some challenges because you were not experienced much before and whatnot. I think about the motivations that you used to have, and it enlightens me.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet. Thank you.
Oh yeah, and I guess building on that too, when you show the projects, going from the first project that you pulled all-nighters for to the last few ones that you've been doing with augmented reality, it's really impressive to see, even if you're still pulling all-nighters.
I'm still, yeah. I will.
So
Go
you
home to
stay
sleep,
until
please.
morning?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's not as bad as sophomore year.
It's like an engineering major. People stay until the morning, you know. So even the arts have, make you
Oh,
stay
yeah.
late.
Don't let her like she spent so many nights in the computational lab in
Wow.
Adams. We would start finding her at Adams, like we wouldn't know where she was, and we would go to Adams.
You know where to go.
Yeah, like the basement of Adams doesn't even have windows.
Was she alone? Was she alone by the time you see?
Yes, 2 a.m. Where's Agustina? Adams.
Well, I'm glad you have friends who can look for you. They might be wondering.
I'm very happy for them. Like, I'm very grateful for them. But no, yeah, Adams. It's a very ugly building.
Where's the Adams stuff? Where is it?
It's in front of the bookstore, like next to the arch, between the arch and bookstore.
Okay.
Charles Adams.
Charles Adams. Okay.
I would recommend to all of you to go if you
Yeah, find the
want
bookstore.
on Thursday night from 5:30 to 7 p.m. because we'll have the exhibition of the seniors, the fine arts.
Oh,
So if you're interested in going,
that's in Adams,
yes.
the infamous.
Yeah, they did things exactly. The gallery is very beautiful. I have no complaints on the gallery,
There's a
but
couple
unlikely,
windows in there.
unlikely I don't work.
You know, Mara, who is Dr. Flam, who was she was a former director of the University of the Arts.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
it was-
this is her-
Yeah, I worked at UArts for 17 years. So yes, this is a subject very near and dear.
Do you
to
know
my
that
heart.
this is her topic?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
It got your
And I
attention.
was like, I've got to go and support the very
That's nice.
art students at Penn. No, it's really lovely to see. And it's great that you highlighted all the stuff on Penn's campus that, support the arts. And,
Yeah.
Weitzman, I think, is trying to do a really great job of having students be fine arts majors, even for their master's students who can also do, landscape architecture with a fine arts concentration as well, and trying to figure out ways where the arts can be more relevant in the current society that we're all living in. I think I think that they're really giving it their all in that regard.
yeah, I definitely agree. If there's one complaint I have,
Mhm.
however, it is that sometimes the undergrad department in fine arts, I'm not sure about design because, like I said, I'm just a minor
Mm-hmm.
in it. In fine arts, sometimes is lacking some stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said, Charles Adams is not the best building on campus. The bathrooms on the second floor don't close.
Oh no.
Um,
No, I get it. It's the way the arts are treated. It's it's, yeah, no, I know. It's bad.
Yeah, I do think that the Penn professors are doing like a great job
Mhm.
trying to combine art history and fine arts to make us work closely together. I'm
Mhm.
taking a class on curating contemporary art
Yeah, that's
right
amazing.
now, and
Mhm.
one of the projects was to create a promotional video for the MFA exhibition.
Oh, cool.
So we got to talk with the MFA students and see their work and stuff like that. So that was really cool.
Yeah, they're
Learning.
promoting that really well. Like I'm very excited for that
Yeah,
exhibition, right? Some of it's gonna be at Arthur Ross and then some is in Weitzman, the
Yes.
gallery in Weitzman, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, anything is happening at the same time as the undergrad exhibitions.
Oh,
and all
really?
that stuff on campus relating to the arts.
Oh, that's great. It's like a little art crawl.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
That's awesome. Yeah. What was your thesis on?
For fine arts, I don't have any pictures of it right now.
But that will be what you're exhibiting,
Yes.
is your thesis show?
Yes. So my thesis talks about my journey, moving from home, and just like something that I guess all international students and
Yeah.
immigrants have like experience, missing home, missing your family. So building on that, I try to recreate this environment using projection mapping, which is where I map the exact form of an object using projectors. So I did archive work selecting different kinds of images and videos that remind me of my home, that remind me of my family, and I'm projecting them on different clothes that also belong to clothes that my mom passed down to me,
wow.
clothes that I bought here, and different kinds of things, kind of like to keep the nostalgia for home like alive and showcasing it to other people, and so other people can relate to it. That's basically what I try to explore.
That's
in my thesis.
beautiful. I'm sure it's going to be really great. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
What softwares do you use?
What?
Softwares do you use to produce your art?
So I mostly use the ones that I've been got here, and because like I said, I had no like background in like animation or anything like that before coming here. So I use Houdini, which is the industry standard for visual effects.
I like it a lot. I like that.
That's what
Yeah.
people love this one. I think it's the color.
And it's your first one.
That is my first one. And I think this one was used with Blender, which is like a free software that I feel like most people have heard of. For this one, I use Unreal Engine that is made for like video games and VR experiences. This one was a VR experiment I was doing for my thesis that I ended up not using, but yeah, and then this one's all is Houdini again using the simulation aspect. There's a lot of Houdini, not so much in Blender at Unreal, but most of them, except for Houdini, are very user friendly. Houdini has an awful layout, so you do have to watch some tutorials before learning how to use it. But those are pretty much the softwares I use here.
A question that I think I remember you mentioned about something you've done with fine art cannot be done by AI. So I'm just wondering how you see AI in your field, in your future, even for your career development, because I feel like that's somehow a trend right now, even in the fine arts area. Yeah.
So I hate AI. I'm very clear. I hate generative AI. However, sometimes you do have to use it. For this class in particular that I've done this research that I'm very proud of, I did have to use AI to understand how the computer perceives this in a different way to human eyes. So again, I did have to use it, but I think it's fine as long as it's used as a tool. I think generative AI is awful, awful, awful. I see no benefit coming from it except from the fact that how to say it nicest way possible without getting into trouble. I think is a way for capitalism to try to replace artists because art is such a very personal field. It's such a very personal activity that most of the time maybe it's not as doesn't make as much money or is not as useful in a capitalist society as one would expect. So with AI it's simple, you can suddenly fire all your designers because you have like an AI that can do your job for you. So it's very dystopic if you ask me. I could go on a rant with this. But yeah, I don't like AI. However, I do think they'll be more and more common in the field, and that breaks my heart. But I still think that most artists are against it, which makes me happy in some ways.
Christina, can you explain to me this axis? Can you explain because it's the left eye, right eye? What is the meaning of this?
Oh, so yeah, basically, like I said, I wanted to see how the computer understood this piece of art in a different way
Okay.
compared to humans.
Okay.
So as you can see, like it got a little confused here. Like for example, it says that this is the chin. What else? That this is the midline of the mouth. So again, got a little confused. Here, I tried to see if we could understand how the general image worked. As you can see, it didn't because my instruction was okay, draw a line right in the middle of the figure.
And it's not, right?
It's not. So this is very interesting because it helps us understand how computers perceive perception. I like about better.
So basically, the symmetry is what you're looking at. So basically, on the first picture here, you see that the eyes are not symmetrical. Is that what it's saying?
Pretty much, yeah. It's saying that it can't really understand what's going on in the image, the same with the second one. So it was very interesting to learn because we made several experiments, and one of the results was that it can't understand these kinds of figures because they are not the traditional figures that you would see like Renaissance art or like in the most, I want to say mainstream art. Meanwhile, if you put other more common like images, for example, we analyzed a girl with a pearl earring. That I don't know if you have like a reference of which painting I'm talking about. But we analyzed that one and it marked it was able to recognize the symmetry perfectly. So it was interesting because it helped us understand like the different biases that the AI has when it comes to analyzing and perceiving art.
That's the one. Oh yeah, I
It's
remember
famous.
this. So this is they got the symmetry with this.
Yeah.
Wow, and her face is not even facing.
I know, but
But it's because they use that traditional perspective.
exactly. I also did another experiment. I don't have a picture of it.
But Mona Lisa, I'm curious about Mona Lisa. Have they done?
It can analyze it, yeah.
Is it symmetrical?
Yes.
Mona Lisa.
It's not symmetrical, but it can detect like the middle of the figure, like it understand the figure well. Maybe with this one, like as you can see, it says that here's the middle, then the face starts like over here, like it's a little confused. Oh, what's going on? Meanwhile, with like the Mona Lisa girl with a pearl earring, it does
I can see why, because like this picture on the right, the middle one, it's when they painted it, it's like it's leaning towards the left, right?
Mhm.
And in this one too, you can see that the face is leaning towards the left.
Yeah.
So the symmetry went.
Yeah, because they use the Byzantine perspective, which is over here to understand how it works. So yeah, it was very interesting to see that when it comes to Byzantine perspective or inverse perspective, also called the eye is very bad at recognizing it,
Mm.
understanding it.
Questions for Agustina. Agustina, I remember the only thing beyond this presentation, you and Ali were so engrossed with this world event. Do you remember that world event?
Yeah.
You were jumping and crying.
I
The
do.
World Cup.
I was looking at the videos of that.
She was, I have the videos to prove it. She was crying, jumping, emotions change. Ali's for, I think,
Yeah, Ali was rooting for France.
France. And of
Yes.
course, Argentina, Lionel Messi.
Mhm.
And Argentina won. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember that.
I hated Ali so much.
Better than now, man.
He's one of your supporter. He's one of your
Yes.
supporter.
He's a very dear friend that I really appreciate, but I remember hating him so much.
During that time.
Yeah, Billy, this song.
I know, very excited.
Yeah.
Another reason to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you arrive, you have long hair. Remember?
Yeah.
Long hair with the bags.
Thanks.
Yeah. I see the students when they're first year students and how they grow. You know, they've changed, matured,
Yeah.
and it's nice to see them with the senior talks.
Thank you. Yeah, Dr. Hay asked me, do you want to send like a new picture because I don't think I can use the one we have on the website.
The one with the bags and
The
the
one
long
with the
hair.
bangs and long hair, exactly. So yeah, lots of changes from freshman year, but I'm very happy and satisfied.
Good. I'm glad you are. I'm glad you are. Yes. Any other questions? Do you have questions for us?
No, but thank you for being here.
Yes.
Being here, very happy.
You're graduating, you're marching, banquet is coming soon.
I'm very happy.
That will be in Penn World House, by the way.
I know. I was just there earlier. I was there.
With a beautiful setting, red and blue linens. And you will be reading your letter to yourself.
I know. I was thinking about
Do
that.
you remember your letter to yourself?
I do not remember the letter. I remember writing it. I don't remember what it says.
Now that will make you. Maybe you wrote yourself. Don't do history.
I do barely remember writing to my future self like, are you happy studying this? So or something along those lines. So it'll be
people were crying reading it. Yeah.
I'm sure I'm prepared for that.
So Mara, what they have, we asked them to write a letter to themselves. So they arrive here at the first year student, and they will open those letters during the graduation banquet.
Is it for just Penn World Scholars?
That's one of the activities that I always think of this crazy idea. Writing to yourself, but they will appreciate it. One of them coded. He's an engineer. He coded the letter, and he forgot to uncode, so he cannot read his letter.
What's left theories? What's left theories?
Mario Ferre from Italy. Yeah, and he won the Penn World Scholar of the Year. Yeah, we will be celebrating the Penn World Scholar of the Year this year. Yes, this is exciting. Any other questions? Well, we have so many food.
Thank you so much. I'm excited.
Bring some home, bring lunch. Thank you, Mara, for encouraging our advice.